It might help if I come off mute. Hello, hello. Hope you guys are having a good week so far. Almost to 100? Yeah, almost. 6 more. I hope you guys are having a good week so far, though. I like tried to write down like what happened this week so that I can actually talk about something, because like every time I try to think about what happened, I'm like, eh. Memory goes out the window. Playing Silent Hill Remake and it's really good. Oh, I've been watching other people play it. It looks really good. Have you played the original? Or did you play the original, I guess? Yeah? How does it fare between the two? Like, which one do you like more? Or like, what are your takes on it? Oh, bro, I had the worst time at the dentist, like more so than usual. Usually I don't really care, like it's just a mild inconvenience, but I had the worst time at the dentist this time around because my usual dentist was on lunch. And so like another one was just like, oh yeah, I can do your cleaning for you. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure.
Darling, you have but set my heart free.
I finished it for the first time 2 years ago. I tried playing it in 2021, I think, but never got far. Oh, okay. Why not? Was it just tough to play? How do you say 50-10 hole in French? I don't speak French, Jenny. I don't speak French, Jenny. Yeah? I'm glad you're learning French out here. No, I really don't remember why I stopped playing it. Oh, okay, okay. Well, I guess it's better than like actually having a reason to stop playing it. Question mark. I yeah, I had like a new dentist do my cleaning and bruh, it was like it was my first time crying at the dentist as an adult. French is fun. Yeah, look, it looks really fun. learning all the good words. You should learn. Do you know how to say seal in French, Jenny? Yeah, that joke filled me with pain, but that was fun. I don't doubt it. The pain is real. I don't know. Wait, did I learn this from you, Dread? No, I didn't, actually. I don't know why I thought I learned it from you. uh, I think seal is just like fuck. Dude, like, oh man, I just like started crying at the dentist because like the guy who was like doing my cleaning was like, I don't know why. It's like he was going really fast, and I'm like, bro, you can calm, like you can slow down. Like I don't mind waiting. And it wasn't like my teeth hurt because I have issues with my teeth. It hurt because he kept like scratching into my gums. And like I know it's not me, and I know it wasn't me, like being dramatic. Like I know that happens sometimes, but like I came home and my gums are like bruised and like um my gums are like bruised, and then like you know how like when you bite the inside of your cheek, like sometimes like you know like this is gonna be really gross, but like you know how like a little bit of like your skin might come off. It was like that on my gums. I'm like, bro, I was so mad. Just learn how to swear in Quebec French. Most of them are just words associated with you. No way, really? Drawing cool designs for my eye patch. Ooh. So far I'm writing, I'm with lazy with an arrow pointing to my lazy eye. That's pretty funny. That's funny. Why why are they all associated with the church? But yeah, so that was my time at the dentist. It was bad. I couldn't really eat for like the last week because my teeth was hurting, and also because of the 2 ulcers on both sides of my cheeks. So I was like, this is fun. I probably lost a couple pounds throughout this week. I don't know how to speak French. Literal translation is my Christ of a car is broken, chalice of a tabernacle. What? What's a tabernacle? Tabernacle. A fixed or movable habitation, typically of light construction. Oh, interesting. I wanna come with silly stories for why I'm wearing an eye patch in case someone asks. Do you have an idea of what story you want to go with? Yeah, there is that. That happened. Oh, I also watched Joker Folie à Deux. It was interesting. Okay, personally, I didn't really like it. I was looking forward to it a lot because I actually really like the DC villains. And I think throughout the whole movie, I had the like, like the what the fuck face with like the hand out. That was me like 75% of the movie. I was like, what's going on? Why are they doing this? Thank the Protestants for that possibly being the reason why. So far, I'm tempted to give a long and detailed retelling of the events of the Yakuza franchise. Just trap other people in a monologue. The other idea is to keep it super vague and say something like, don't fuck with me. No, make it even more. Give it more vague. So from what you fuck? Yeah? Yeah, okay. I was like, so from what I fuck? Yeah? Go on with the story. I don't fuck against 0 bitches. Not with that attitude. Ducks? Yeah. Me when someone asks about the eye patch. I feel like ducks people could come to like a vague story with though. You should just be like, Lays. Either that or I'm a really dedicated pirate. I'm kind of liking that one more. I scare the bitches. Tis the season. Tis the season, my mans. um, but yeah, I don't know. The second Joker movie was kind of whatever. I was looking forward to it because I really liked the first one. So this one was a bit of a letdown because I don't know. It's just I went in like, oh yeah, I want to watch like a DC villain movie or like, something of that nature. And it turned into like a weird like Law and Order kind of vibes. And I was like, oh, this wasn't what I was expecting, but okay. You know what you should have had gone to see? What? The Winter King. No, go with that one. Yeah, that one's vague enough. Transformers 1 baby. Wait, was it good? I'm always looking for more movies to watch. I love watching movies. I've heard it's good. You haven't even watched it, Kim. What? I'm just trying to support TF Hype Man on Twitter. I guess that's fair. Eat quality control. Thank you. Thank you for your service, Kim. But yeah. I guess those are kind of the couple big items that happened. Amazon Prime Day just happened. Did you guys buy anything? I ended up finally getting a micro SD card for my for my other Switch. Because I didn't really have a spare SD card for that one, so I was able to pick that up. And then I also got the Instax wide printer, so I'm excited to use that one. That man is literally carrying this movie's marketing on his back. Is he really? My new favorite out of context quote for myself: is it morally acceptable to annihilate that child for my own monetary gain? How did that even come about? I think those are like kind of the big things that happened. I'm excited for the printer to come in though, because like I kind of want to get back into scrapbooking. I stopped. I have like an on-off relationship with scrapbooking, but like I really do want to keep up with it. It's just hard. Yakuza 0 is a wild game. Ah, I see. I understand. You guys ready to see more Vampire Lady? Well, I guess not more. Technically, we still haven't seen her yet. Oh, actually, before I do that, Adam Sandler, yeah. Perfect Halloween music. I'm still taking suggestions for any scary games or scary stories to read. Hold on, I can't talk and type. I don't know why that is. Okay, there you go. We're gonna do some fun events in the future. I got some things lined up for Halloween, so you can drop your suggestions there. I think I have a few suggestions for games, so I think I'll leave it up to you guys to vote. But we'll see. If I can somehow find a way to play OG Silent Hill, then I can, but doing my civic duty, thank you, Kip. How do I do that? Boo. Chat, did I scare you? I don't know. It's hard to like it's hard for me to say some words in the deeper tone for some reason. What? I can help you set up PCX2 or send you the SH2. Okay. Yeah, if I do end up playing that, then I'll reach out to you. You scared me? Oh, okay, I see. I did it. I'm high for metaphor, working on my game for my masters. Oh, I was lurking for a little bit. Was that what you were working on? I saw you had some code up. And then it was like really interesting because like I saw like the Spanish on there and I was like also side thinking. I was like, huh, I wonder if code is always written in English. I gotta decide whether or not my PNG model will have an eye patch or not. Oh. Why wouldn't you want? Also, why are you crying? Why sad cat? Yes, I was working on that. Oh, let's go. Is it going well? Scared. I'm sorry, Dread. I'm sorry. Was I too scary? It is always in English except for when you make oh, you know what? That makes sense. Variables can be almost anything. Yeah. That makes sense. There's a Shrek Power Wash? Wait, I didn't know there were so many different DLCs for Power Wash Simulator. Oh. I wanted to get the Alice in Wonderland one. That one looked really pretty. Warhammer 40k has Warhammer 40k. Wait, let me see. Side detour for me. Forget just one eye patch. Get 2 eye patches. Because I only gotta wear the eye patch for a few months. I don't know if I want the eye patch on the model permanently. Oh, okay. You know what? That's fair. Can you do like a separate layer so that you can just like do it as a toggle? Oh my god, it does. There is a 40k one. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I didn't know there were so many. I wanted the Alice in Wonderland one. Oh, I have the Alice in Wonderland one. Just kidding. You get to wash a dreadnought. All of these sound like fun times. Also, the PNG is going to be a raccoon with a space helmet. Oh, let's go. I love that. Raccoon will always look cool in anything because I love the little things. Power wash simulator where you wash a power wash. Meta. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. I love her. Stream idea playing the entire Yakuza franchise? Someone I know did that. I don't remember who. But someone did that. I know Alex. Who's Alex? Axel is playing Yakuza right now. From what I remember, where we last left off, our ladies were still lamenting in their cell. We really didn't get that far. I'm doing a Majima cosplay to go to a job interview because fun. Oh, is this the one that you didn't want because seasonal? God, I just really love the music too. It's so good. Yeah? Okay. Let us know how that goes. Oh, that was a very abrupt change in music. Sounds. Also, it just lines up conveniently with Halloween and me having to wear an eye patch anyway. Wait, does Majima have an eye patch? Or is that... Or are those just like two things that are fun that are coming up for you? Yeah, that's like his one defining facial feature. Oh, okay, I see. Ah, I didn't know that. I'm not very familiar with the Yakuza series. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember who it was. I do remember watching Peachy play it, but I don't think he was playing all the series. The guy from 24 Hours Cinderella. Oh, okay. I see. Speaking of Halloween, actually, I'm going to haunt this weekend with a couple of friends from NorCal. They're coming down. They like invited us when we went to our friend's wedding, so I'm excited to go. I love Halloween stuff. Like, I love going through the mazes, but like, because I'm completely psycho about it and I don't know how to act, I like going with people because like other people don't try to scare me. Other people don't know how to scare, or like don't really scare me because I'm nervously laughing all through the maze and avoiding eye contact. So I get to enjoy that atmosphere while other people are more focused on my friends. I don't even know what it is. I chase people into mirror mazes and wait for them to eventually slam head first into something. Yeah, see, that wouldn't work with me because I wouldn't run. I kind of want to do like a scary escape room too. I haven't done an escape room in a really long time and I kind of miss it. One of my friends had wanted to do it, but like the timing just didn't line up. So I'm like a little sad about that, but I don't know. Hopefully we'll be able to go sometime this month. Fingers crossed. I hope you guys are ready to get back into this. I'm excited to play more because I kind of want to see how the story unfolds. I don't even know when the demo ends. It says that there's like 4 to 8 hours of reading, but like in my head, I'm like, that sounds like a full game. So I don't think the demo is going to be as long. I guess we'll find out. With no obvious way of escape and very little to do, Meike and Henny had no choice but to idle their time away. They sat upon the stone floor together. They could, Meike supposed, have sat upon the wooden cot, but it did not seem sturdy enough for the both of them, with their legs folded primly, like two little girls conducting a make-believe tea party. Henny had, at first, balked at the thought of her mistress sitting on the floor like a plebeian, but Meike's dress was already so dirty, it scarce mattered. I wouldn't have expected the word plebeian to be used in this game. The two women did not, however, abandon themselves to inertia. Henny knew they had to do something to take their minds off their ghastly predicament. Fortunately, Henny was not empty-handed. She had in her pocket, alongside the kerchief she had used to wipe Meike's cheek, a pack of cards. These cards were bent at the corners, but they remained perfectly functional. Why do you have a pack of cards? You have like weird thing to take with you. For want of a better way to use her time, Henny proposed to make a game of Joker, which she soon accepted. Is that a real game? Harry, is this a visual novel? It is. It's from the same same studio that published A Date with Death. So I'm excited to see how this one is going to turn out. I don't know if it's the same studio who made it though. Or sorry, not the same developer. So the developer for this one is Ebihime, and then for Date with Death. Oh yeah, Date with Death was developed by 2.5 Studios. Henny cut the deck, then dealt out the cards. Her motions deft despite her trembling. Both Henny and Meike were familiar with card games. They often played rounds to pass the hours, there being precious few amusements that ladies of Meike's caliber were permitted to do. Were it not for Henny and her games, Meike feared she would have lost her mind from fright. Cherry complex question, what's up? The two women played several rounds of Joker, examining their decks and dispensing of cards. The game did not require a great deal of tactical thinking, but it helped alleviate some of Meike's concerns. It could not, alas, alleviate the cold, but Meike had been shivering for so long she had almost grown accustomed to it. She had been in the dank, miserable cell for so long she could scarcely remember how it even felt to be warm. Had her journey to Augsburg continued unimpeded, she would now be sitting by the fire in Walter Gerhardt's living room, or else tucked up in one of his many guest bedrooms with a warming pan at her feet. Both Augsburgs and Walter Gerhardt seemed very far to Meike now, though being confined thus in a prison cell. How long had she been sitting with Henny on the floor, shivering? Meike did not know. She could not tell. She had lost all conception of time and its passing. It had become nebulous to her, unformed and unfixed. All Meike really knew, in her infinite ignorance, was that the night seemed hopelessly long, she hopelessly small and insignificant. There is no clock in Meike's cell, and neither she nor Henny carried timepieces upon them. The only means Meike had of tracking the advancement of the hour was the sliver of sky she could see beyond the narrow window, situated high above her head. She could recall that the sky had been dark upon her waking, and it remained so now, 3 games of Joker later. Would you rather unlimited bacon but no games, or unlimited games? I'm assuming unlimited games but no bacon? I'd rather have unlimited games but no bacon. I don't really eat a lot of bacon in general. Did you know that owls? Question mark. Know that owls what? The moon, which emerged from the fog at irregular intervals, shone its pallid light upon Meike's head and upon her hand of cards, lighting her Joker and his wide, rictus grin. Meike had never much cared for the Joker in Henny's trusty pack of cards. His expression unnerved her. Every once in a while, as she played, Meike spared a few glances upwards at the barred window. She could not hope to guess at the hour, but she knew it was late. It had been late when the bandits had descended upon her parents, and it was still late now. Perhaps 1 hour had passed since the attack, or 2. It could have been an advanced hour of the night, or could have been, by the same token, the very, very earliest of the following morning. The calendar might have shifted already from one day to the next, but Meike was none the wiser. Meike could not believe, though, when she tilted her head, that the sun had any intention of soon putting in an appearance. Okay. I don't think I'm saying this name right, so I'm gonna look it up real quick. It just sounds weird. Like off in the setting. It's just owl. I have a fade now. Oh, let's go. Mika. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I think I am saying this. No, wait, but that one's spelled the wait. Oh, that's because I spelled it wrong. Nope. Yeah, Mika. Okay, Mika. That sounds more right. I feel handsome. Oh, let's go. We love that. We love the confidence boost. I would try to, like, I always try to do a fade on myself, but it's hard. Does the TTS work? I want to say silly stuff. I think it works. It was not my fault. It had nothing to do with my system. It was the TTS voice pack. But yeah, the last time I tested it, it should work. Mika could not believe, though, when she tilted her head. Ashy gray. Do you get wolf cuts or something? I have my side buzzed. Yeah. I also don't like jet black hair. That's my natural hair color. Or I guess my natural hair color is really dark brown, but I don't like it. I don't think I've had my natural hair color in like over a decade, actually. Ooh, yeah. I like it. It keeps one side of my head cool, I guess. Ashy gray is amazing. I haven't done ashy gray, to be honest. I always wanted to try like silver, but I heard that's like kind of hard because I usually dye my hair myself. It's just silver. Yeah, but I want like the platinum, I guess. I've never done gray or like silver or anything like that. I've done blonde. The closest I've gotten to that was just like a very platinum blonde. The darkness which abounded within her cell was too complete for it, the cards in her hands almost inscrutable without the aid of the moon's light. I guess that... it's an app name, I guess. Can anyone hear Foxy TS? Can you guys not hear it? Oh, I can hear. Hey, I didn't hear. Hold on. We're gonna finagle.
Test. Test.
Dang, he's loud. He's just screaming in your guys' ear. The darkness which abounded within her cell was too complete for it, the cards in her hands almost inscrutable without the aid of the moon's light. Mika could not hear either the telltale twittering of birdsong, which often announced the coming dawn. When did the birds begin to chirp among the boughs of the trees beyond her bedroom window? Mika could not recall, but she thought it must have been around 6 in the morning. Mika had gone to bed at 10 every night, like a dutiful daughter, despite her advancing years, but she had often found it hard to sleep for a full, unbroken 8 hours. Girl, that's such a mood. Girl, that's such a mood. Let's go, yes! Cherry's in the process of asking BTS to fix her DS, but it's all some BS, to be honest. What's out here spitting bars? Is that what's happening? She would arise at odd hours, at 1 or 2 or 3, her head full of thoughts, and often she found it hard to sleep again. When this occurred, Mika would arise from bed to sit by her windowsill, her forehead in the summer pressed to the glass. That always helped cool her and her errant thoughts alongside it. Oh, how her mind raced. It seemed quite unfair, really, that she should be cursed with so many thoughts when her parents demanded only that she be a perfect, passive doll of a woman with no opinions at all. With weary eyes, Mika could look out to the back garden, steeped in shadows, and the cobblestone streets beyond it. Others might have found the night in its fathomless stillness uncomfortable, but Mika quite enjoyed it. At least she did not have to perform when all else were abed. She was free to feel and think as she wanted, without fear of being reproached. Thank you for the Zippy's log. Mika, her mother had often scolded her as she sat in the dining room for uncomfortable family meals. You're furrowing your brow again. Have I not warned you against it? It is most unattractive. What must Herr Gerhardt think if he had seen you now? Mika would always apologize for these faults of hers, no matter how slight, but inwardly she smoldered. She did not like being spoken down to as if she were a child. And now, at least after the night's horrors, she needed no longer worry about furrowing her brow in an unbecoming way as she sipped her soup. She no longer had a mother to scold her. She would never see her mother nor her father again. And what of Walter? Of that, Mika had no earthly idea. Oh, this is ridiculous, Henny groused while examining her own cards. He ought to be at Herr Gerhardt's right now, safe as houses. We weren't so very far from Augsburg. At least, I don't think we were when we were attacked. Why did these bandits have to go after us? We were just unfortunate, I suppose. I can't imagine the bandits meant specifically to target us. We just happened to be there. My money's on Walter who sent them. Gotta have the trope of a fiance who does not want to get married. You're probably right, but goodness, of all the awful luck. At least you've had a fair run during our game. You've beaten me out soundly during every single hand. Well, true. I suppose I should thank heaven for small mercies, eh? Henny smiled at Mika's attempt to cheer her, but it didn't last. Both Henny's smile and Mika's cheer were half-hearted, and soon they were swallowed by the sinister darkness of their cell. It's a shame I don't feel more thankful. I wonder what Herr Gerhardt would make of this. He'd be off his head, I'm sure, if he knew the state you're being kept in, Mika. Drawing silly tattoo ideas too now? Ooh, what tattoo ideas are you drawing? I'm enraged too for you and him. You deserve far better than this. You're a Von Essen, for crying out loud. The person who's holding us here will feel mighty sorry when they realize who you are. You're a real lady. Maybe. Mika's reply was vague in both tone and meaning. Not even Mika herself was sure whether she meant to disparage Henny's optimistic assertions that her status as a lady would grant her any favors with her captors, or whether she was a lady at all. Mika had been born to a noble family, it was true, with a lineage she would trace back centuries, but The Von Essens were not what they had been. Half a century of poor financial decisions and a grandfather with compulsive gambling addiction had led to the squandering of much of the Von Essens' wealth. While still in possession of their family home and a veritable fleet of maidservants, the family's finances had been in a dire state ever since Mika's girlhood. Oh heck yeah, definitely. I bet you that her betrothed found out that her family was poor and decided to break off the betrothal with some murders. Doing a tattoo for every language I learned. So far, Dutch has a windmill or a tulip. Oh, that's cute. Are you planning to do like a little collage or like something that would like tie everything all together? Though not openly wanting for cash, Mika's parents had made a good many purchases based on their family's prestige rather than the figures in their bank account. Mika's wedding to Herger had been an attempt to shore up the family's wealth before they could fall from grace altogether, but that now seemed an impossibility. How could Mika wed Walter when she was incarcerated? If Mika had loved Walter, she surely would have shed tears over so cruel a fate. As it was, however, she was curiously calm. What did she care about how Walter Gerhardt felt? She barely knew him. Well, not to worry. Herr Gerhardt must be sitting in his drawing room now. What lock? What are you writing for? No, just like a long line of them. Oh, I love that idea though. I think that's really cute. Well, not to worry. Herr Gerhardt must be sitting in his drawing room now, wondering where the blazes we are. Wondering where the blazes we are. I have no idea what time it is. That, Mika thought glumly, made two of them. But we should have arrived in Augsburg ages ago. Herr Gerhardt is sure to send out a search party before long. He'll be worried sick about you, Mika. Do you really think so? Absolutely. I mean, he's our fiancé. He's got to be worried. What, Hot? You're such a sweet thing. I don't see how he couldn't. Thank you, Henny. I appreciate it. Don't thank me, Mika. I'm just stating the facts. If I was a man and I had a fiancé like you can bet that I wouldn't let you out of my sight. Perhaps it's a good thing that I'm in here with you then. You at least know I'm alright. Yes, you are, and I thank heaven on high for it. You know, I'd do anything to keep you safe, Mika. I don't know, I'm just feeling spunky. You're always feeling spunky. I know. Mika could well believe that, coming from Henny. At the spooky ookies. When it came to Henny's claims about Walter, however, Mika was less certain. Ooh, look at that. What, no, false? Who, yes, true. Impishly mischievous, perhaps? That's the same thing. Wait, hold on, I'm trying to make sense of this outfit. Okay. But like this is like a, oh, so this is like a cloak that's just kind of tilted. I like the costume designs. They're really pretty. What did she know about Walter really, other than his age and his occupation, and how fabulously, excessively wealthy he was? Mika had met Walter on only 3 past occasions, and they'd exchanged almost as many words. The man was a stranger to her, and Mika's desire to marry him was inversely proportional with her parents' desire to see her walking down the aisle. Mika had been dreading her visit to Augsburg for well over a month. Now it had been terminated, she felt a perverse sort of relief. Part of Mika had even begun to wonder, as she sat in her cell, whether the bandits' attacks had brought with it some good alongside all the bad. But that, Mika chastised herself, was hopelessly cruel. Were her parents' lives truly worth that little to her? It was true enough that she may never see Walter Gerhardt again, but she would never see her mother nor her father again either. It was not a fair trade, not by any stretch of the imagination. How could she have ever thought of such a thing? It must, Mika thought grimly, be because I'm a bad daughter. My mother was right. I am ungrateful. Perhaps thus then, as a punishment from God. I never appreciated them while they were still alive, and now they're dead. How cruel and callous I am. Henny might have called Mika sweet, but Mika found this hard to believe. A lifetime beneath her mother's iron, implacable, rule had taught Mika how to be submissive, but it had not taught her sweetness. She smiled and simpered because it was expected of her, but late at night, when she could not sleep, she seethed. Mika had resented her parents, and Walter alongside them for a long time. That Henny did not know this was perturbing. Henny must not have known Mika all that well after all. Or perhaps Mika thought, with a shiver, it was she who did not truly know herself. Mika and Henny sat in their cell for what could have been minutes, or hours, or even days, whiling away the time. My God, there's so much time! With continued, unending, incessant games of Joker. Mika's heart was not in the game, her head being otherwise occupied, and Henny trounced her soundly 12-1. Henny was better than Mika at card games in general, so this came as little surprise. Mika was accustomed to losing and accepted her failures with good grace. Following fun fact, Frankenstein's monster is a vegetarian. Really? I didn't know that. Huh. I will say so far, just based on what I kind of read up to this point, I like the story, and there are some like really good, like, there's really good parts where I love the imagery, and I love like there's like a lot of, is it metaphors? There's like a lot of good metaphors in there that I really think is novel. Like, it's not overused, like cliche kind of metaphors. But the writing could do with a little polishing, in the sense of there's like a few grammatical errors that I've seen. Like, I've seen a handful of grammatical errors so far, and there's like quite a bit of run-on sentences. I do enjoy the story like a lot, but it's just things that I've noticed so far. Frankenstein's monster claims that he is a vegetarian by choice. I do not destroy the lamb and the kid to glut my appetite. Acorns and berries afford me sufficient nourishment. Aww. The writing could be improved by letting me kiss the vampire. That too. That too. There are more important things in life than card games. And in any event, Mika had never cared for the jokers in Henny's deck. She preferred to be rid of them. Little of note happened during these dead, empty hours. Nobody came to visit Henny and Mika in their cell, and the faint screams both women had heard, though Mika was staunchly determined to think of it as the wind, did not see fit to impinge upon their solitude. The sky beyond their prison cell, meanwhile, remained dark, like a bereaved widow outfitted in mourning clothes. See, like this. I like imagery like this. I love this. It was just my own personal opinion and my own personal preferences, but I really like imagery like this. Like the personification of like it, intangible matter, I guess. The code remained oppressive, the stone floor uncomfortable, and Mika found little in the way of relief no matter how much she shifted. Mika had just begun to wonder, in a detached way, as Henny launched into their 14th round of Joker, whether they would ever meet their rescuer. Perhaps whoever had hauled them from the forest had done so, not so as an act of kindness, but as a means of prolonging their suffering. Maybe they meant to keep them locked in the cell alone until time itself slowed to a trickle, then ceased. The squalid stone walls tumbling down about them to crush their emaciated corpses in the debris. But soon, shockingly soon, or so it seemed, despite all the interminable waiting, Mika found her hypothesis proved wrong. Oh, got a new scene. It's freaking cold right now. I'm sitting with my blush. Is that doing a good job on keeping you warm? She could hear, above the sound of Henny shuffling the deck, a sound. Is she coming? Is this her? Are we gonna see her? Is this the woman of the hour? Footsteps. The footsteps were soft enough at first that Mika wondered whether she had imagined them, but as the seconds elapsed, they became louder still, until even Henny heard them. Goodness me. Henny fumbled with the cards, then threw them down, face up. Red hearts and black spades spilt across the stone. Can you hear that, Mika? Yes, I can. Somebody must be coming. A rescuer from the woods, do you think? They could be our rescuer, yes, but maybe... Mika did not finish this thought. Her saliva felt too thick in her throat, like tar, and she shivered. She did not want to extinguish the hope which she could see flickering now in Henny's eyes. That would have been cruel. Henny's head swiveled to the grated iron door. Excitable as a puppy and wide-eyed, she peered through the shadows. Oh, this is a turn for the better. I was beginning to worry they'd forgotten all about us. I can't wait to come face to face with them. I'll be sure to tell them exactly what I think about their so-called hospitality. You said that once before, Henny, and I wish you wouldn't. I don't want to anger them. Oh, stuff and nonsense. I'm sure it will be fine. If they wanted to harm us, they'd had plenty of chances to do it already, surely? No, but that had comfy. If not warm, at least comfy. That is true, but the footsteps drew closer still, echoing about the stone walls, echoing too inside Mika's skull. The footsteps could represent only two things. They would mean salvation, if they were lucky, but Mika found it difficult to believe this. Neither she nor Henny had been very lucky that night, despite Henny's continued winning hands in Joker. It seemed far more likely that these footsteps would bring about yet more suffering, and sure enough... Well, would you look what the cat dragged in? The voice that cut through Mika's musings was a proud, haughty one, the syllables polished to perfection like cut glass. Fuck. Can't be slurring my words with her, I guess. They make mini blusher now? I could buy like 5 of them and start it out. They make mini ones now? Wait, I wanna see. Here's the mini ones. Oh, they're so cute. Oh. The mini blush. They're so cute. Oh my god. The voice belonged quite obviously to a woman, and given her pronunciation, she must have been well bred. Perhaps the rescuer, too, was a lady, Avon, such and such as Mika was, from a family whose ancestral home was vast and old and grand enough to have its very own dungeon. Whereas most nobility used their subterranean storage spaces for wine cellars, this family seemed to prefer taking prisoners. The thought did not fill Mika with such confidence about her mysterious rescuer. Anxiously, she glanced up to meet the source of said voice. And when she did... Oh! Mika could not help but gasp in surprise. The owner of the voice, who now stood upon the opposite side of the cell's door, was not at all what Mika had imagined. Look at her. Get rid of these doors. Get rid of these doors. They're covering up our queen. Yo, it's the vampire. It's the vampire. She's here. Our love. Our queen. People who bought blush also brought trans flag in honesty mood. That's pretty funny. Big mood. She was shorter than Mika had expected. Shorter than Mika herself, who was dwarfed by her wealthier, significantly older fiancé, and slender with it, her cheekbones high, her neck not dissimilar to the stem of a flower. Her skin was frighteningly pale, like that of a corpse, and beneath her eyes Mika could see dark rings similar to those she often sported during the long nights at her bedroom window, unable to sleep. Look at her! I find it funny that she's wearing a cross. She's so pretty. I love the spit on her too. And like the hair pieces. The woman, or was she a girl, had hair so fair it was almost white, which almost seemed to glow in the moon's light. Her hair was not worn as most women did in a chignon, but instead was loose. It tumbled about her shoulders in waves, all disarrayed in a manner which would have made Mika's mother swoon from the sheer impropriety of it all. The girl's appearance. What, was she a girl? No, was striking, not only because of her indeterminable age, but because of her eyes. widely spaced and fringed with the most luxurious of lashes. Her irises were not brown like Henny's, nor blue like Mika's. They were not green, nor hazel, nor gray, nor any of the other shades Mika had seen in the faces of her family servants, and the attendants at the boutiques to which her mother took her, and the congregation at the local parish. Her irises were instead bright red, so much so they bordered on the visceral. These lovely irises were even redder than the blood which had seeped from Mika's sliced cheek, which had now congealed and seemed full of violence. The girl was a perfect stranger to Mika, but her eyes told more than pleasant chit-chat ever could. She was not normal. Mika knew instinctively as she gazed upon her that she should keep her distance if she could, but this only made her, conversely, feel even more enchanted. Honestly, big mood, Mika. She could not look away from her. What happens if I suck a vampire's blood asking for a friend? I must know the answer to that question as well. It was as though her captor had placed her under a spell. You turn into one, I believe. Oh, that is true, huh? That's how they make thralls. At least in, well, I guess depending on which version, which vampire story you're kind of reading. That woman. And he shifted back, her skirt shifting against the ground. She's the one I told you about, Mika. The one from the woods. She's the one who fought off those bandits. I thought it was unbelievable what I saw, but now I know it wasn't a dream. She really is real. She killed all those men. She's a monster. A monster? Mika murmured this under her breath, her expression one of perplexity. Had Henny delivered this indictment against any other, Mika would have thought her guilty of exaggeration, but she could believe such a claim easily enough when leveled at this woman. The woman did not look as monsters did in fairy tales, with slobbering maws and sharpened claws, but her red eyes make Mika's blood run cold regardless. She was no ordinary woman, but perhaps that was to be expected. Nothing about the night's events had been ordinary. Oh, a monster, am I? The woman's unnatural eyes narrowed and with a smile said, "You cut me to the quick, you humans do. At least you would, or are not so accustomed to it. Perhaps I bring it upon myself, given the unusual manner in which I treat my guest, but you could at least try to be polite. Why, if it were not for me, the both of you would be lying in the woods right now, mangled beyond all recognition." So, you really were the one who saved us. I thought as much. Yours isn't a face anybody could forget in a hurry. I thank you. I will take that as a compliment. I am very striking, I know. Why did you save us, though? And how? I can't believe you have brought us back here, wherever here is, on your own. You must have had help. Oh, if only. But alas, I've not had any help for, well, let's see. It must have been a century at least. A century? Henny gawked at the woman, her eyes agog. But That would make you older than my grandmother. But that can't be right. You don't look a day over 18. Oh, and do you really think so? You're too kind. Laughing softly, the woman extricated a key from her pocket, then inserted it into the waiting keyhole. Deftly, she turned it, and deftly she stepped inside the cell, the hem of her dark cape dragging against the uneven stone floor. Once inside the cell, she turned to pull the door open and locked it anew. There, that ought to do it. It would be horribly tedious if you had tried to run from me. I would be able to catch you, of course, but I'd rather not bother with all of the fuss. It's such a hassle. With the door thusly secured, she placed the key inside her pocket and turned to look at her prisoners. For that, Mika knew with a sinking feeling, was what she was. Mika had been aware of her status upon waking in her dank prison cell, but the presence of the woman and how very aloof she was made this abundantly clear. Looks like ad break is coming up in about like 30 seconds or so and hang out for a bit here while we wait for people to come back from ant jail. In Vampire the Masquerade, you become a ghoul. Oh, you don't turn into a thrall? How would you turn into a thrall in Vampire the Masquerade? If she's a monster, then I'm a proud monster fricker. Yo, honestly, mood. Honestly, mood. I would gladly indulge. I also find it's very hard to do different voices when I like kind of have to be like quiet. And I use like three different flavors of cherry in the same font, slightly different weights. I wonder why she does lock them in the prison cell though. Like, I mean, I guess I understand it, like she intends on eating all of them, but like, I don't know. I feel like if she wanted to do that, she would have put them up separately. That hallway looked very long. It's like because if she's trying to just eat one of them, it's easier to fight off the one rather than try and fight off one while busy with the other. Maybe she's just scared that they're gonna run away, but like, why? Questions that I don't think will get answered until the full game comes out. But questions nonetheless. Welcome back from Agile for those who are in it. I hope you guys weren't in there for too long. Wait, did I read that? Mika had been aware of her status upon waking in her dank prison cell, but the presence of the woman and how very aloof she was made this abundantly clear. She had not been brought back to this woman's abode as an equal. She was at the woman's mercy, von Essen or no, and Mika feared her family's prestigious title would have very little sway here. The woman did not seem like one who cared for such things. She did not seem like one who cared much for anything, really, or even about anything. Her lips might have been curved into a coy smile, like one who had been dealt a particularly good hand in a card game, but her red eyes were hard and horribly empty. Mika could tell on an instinctual level that this woman was not one to be trifled with. Why, she might not have been a woman at all. Now, why are you looking at me like that? The woman, catching Mika's cowed expression, pouted. You're making me feel quite unwelcome. I thought you would be relieved to see my face after being left to languish in the catacombs of my castle for hours on end. But maybe I was hoping for too much? In any case, you shouldn't frown like that, dear. It's an awful waste. You'll wrinkle your pretty face. This chastisement was very familiar to Mika. She had heard it many times from her mother, while Mika had been trained to obey her mother without question. However, it was not so with this strange woman. Some of her reticence fell away and needled, Mika said. What I do with my face is my own concern. I'm sure it's none of your business. My. The mysterious woman tittered. You're feistier than you look. I took you for a shrinking violet, but maybe I was mistaken. You might make for quite the amusing plaything, though you'd be a good sight prettier if you smiled. She did not say you look better with a smile. I can't say I blame you for being so surly, though. I never liked smiling on command either. Though, it's been many, many years since anybody last tried to give me orders. It's fortunate nobody can tell me what to do now, at least. It came at quite the price, but... Oh well, never mind. Where are my manners? My name is Magdalena, but you may call me Lena. My family's name, meanwhile, is of no particular importance. They might have commanded some respect back in the day, but it is not so now. They have long since been obliterated. I doubt history will try to remember them. It would not wish to. I am all that is left of their legacy, a fact I would very much love to rub in their faces, but alas, I never got the chance. It is very nice to meet you, for the second time this night. So saying, Magdalena dropped a neat curtsy, taking hold of her cape in lieu of a skirt. But I am afraid I will not be afforded much of a chance to properly know you. While I would relish the chance to speak to a couple of young maidens such as yourselves, I have designs for you beyond idle chatter. And what do you mean by that exactly? Only that now I have brought you here, I cannot let you live. You have already seen too much. What? Henny stared at Magdalena with wide eyes, so full of fear the air swelled with it. What do you mean? What I said. Do try to keep up. It's awfully tedious having to explain myself down to the finer details. But I suppose you have the right to know the bare minimum, prisoners though you may be. I would hate to keep you in suspense, and at this point it matters not how much you know. You will not be able to tell anybody else what you might learn from here. You'll not be venturing forth beyond the walls of my castle ever again. Magdalena smiled, her lips shifting in a wicked grin, not so very unlike that of the Joker in Henny's pack of cards. Though Magdalena's face was white, her lips were red, much like hers. They stood out in her milky face, like a rose blooming despite the winter's chill. Or else, Mika thought with a shudder, freshly spilt blood. I wonder if her family was like all vampires also, or if like she just happened to be the only vampire. And like I wonder like how that happened. You must understand that I am not a normal woman. No human can hope to best me when it comes to a competition of sheer strength, as the bandits who are pursuing you soon discovered. It did not take me more than a few seconds to dispatch them. The fight they put up was so pathetic, it makes me wonder why they even bothered. If they'd any respect for my time, they would have slit their own throats with their daggers and saved me the trouble. God dang, girl. You humans can be awfully thoughtless. But if they had done that, I wouldn't have been able to bring the leader of their little group back to my castle. He was in a bad way, and I was obliged to introduce myself to him before bestowing upon you similar honors. I really must apologize for making you wait. Magdalena dropped another curtsy, as an elegant lady might, but it smacked of insincerity. There was no respect in Magdalena's red irises for her pair of prisoners. Rather than sympathize with their plight, she instead seemed little more than amused. How many men and women had Magdalena brought to her castle? And how many had she summarily tortured? Mika knew that there was at least one, besides herself and Henny. The bandit's leader. Did you kill him? Eventually, yes. It was quite the sight. You ought to have seen the way he begged and pleaded and groveled at my feet. A grown man like that, who was practically made of muscle. And I grovel at her feet. Me next, me next. Was there a line for this? I will happily do that also. Oh, how fickle fortune is. Just 1 hour hence he was a predator, stalking his prey through the woods alongside his lackeys, and the next... Magdalena drew a hand across her neck in the unequivocal universal gesture of a slit throat. Well, what goes around comes around. He got what he deserved, and his screams really were exquisite. Did you perchance happen to hear them? He was being rather loud. Henny gave a violent start at this, but said nothing sensible. Her mouth fell open, but only 1 syllables came out, all broken up and interspaced. What? You... Oh goodness. Surprised, are you? You shouldn't be. That man was a bandit, a vulture in a man's flesh who profited on misery. If it weren't for me, you would have gone the same way as the poor unfortunates in that stalled carriage. The driver, and the horses too. Nobody was spared their ravages, man nor beast. How's Cage of Roses? It's good. I like it. There's been a couple of good lines that we came across so far. That's been really cool. And we finally get to see our queen. Fun fact, bioluminescent cats are possible. Is there one in existence? Yeah? Wait, how'd they make it bioluminescent? They made quite the grisly mess. Were I a century younger, it would have been enough to turn even my stomach. Maybe that is so, but to gloat over another death like that, it doesn't seem right. I'm twisted. If I am twisted, that is only because this world. Magdalena began, but then paused. A momentary furrow captured her white, smooth brow, but soon it straightened, as though nothing of note had occurred. Well, never mind that. I do not wish to spout cliches about good and evil. I would begin to bore myself. The fact of the matter is, that man got what he deserved, as did his compatriots. I took great pains to ensure that. I paid that brigand back twofold for what he did to you. Did you know that he tried to be stoic in the beginning? Humans often are. Human males in particular. They've got so much pride. It's funny, really, that a cur like that would care so much about appearances. He was less than a man than he was a dog, but he still had pretensions of greatness, or of grandeur. I soon stripped him of these lofty delusions, however. Humans are very alike in one regard, at least. You all scream the same after your bones have been broken, and you all bleed red. That man was a brigand, I'll admit, who deserved the hangman's noose. But that's for the court of law to decide. Not— oh, sorry, that's Henny. My bad. The scientists went ahead and were like, hey, can we do this funny thing which seems to make cats bioluminescent and probably work on people too? That's wild. Out of all the things that they could be doing. I bleed bright green. That doesn't sound healthy. That man might have been a brigand, I'll admit, who deserved the hangman's noose, but that's for the court of law to decide, not you. What you did isn't justice. It's barbaric. You shouldn't be taking pleasure in other people's deaths. What gave you the right to kill him anyway? I had every right to kill him. He was trespassing upon my land, as were you and the young lady here. Her life was already forfeit the moment his life was already forfeit the moment he encroached upon my territory. The Lord's Prayer may say that we ought to forgive those who wrong us, but I have no patience with such teachings. They do not apply to me. The Lord has forsaken me. I am no longer a member of his congregation. He would have no love for me as I am now, and I have little love for him. I cannot conceive how he could have let me suffer so if he truly existed. Sometimes I do wonder. So, you mean to add blasphemy to your list of crimes? Oh, I've done far, far worse than that in my time. The morals of you good, sententious churchgoers do not apply to me. I am not of your kind. I am a drinker of blood who walks the night. I have been alive for over a century, though my life is very different to yours and your mistress's. I doubt that you could understand me, and neither do I want you to. I've no desire to understand you either. There would be no point. We are much too different. A drinker of blood? But that would make you a vampire? It was Mika who offered forth this label after Henny's voice faltered. Mika was an ardent devourer of books, and she had read before of such shadowy denizens of the night, much to her mother's chagrin. Lady Von Essen had thought that Mika, as a well-bred young lady, out. I think that's meant to be ought, right? Ought not to read at all. It will only excite your mind, dear, but should instead busy yourself with embroidery. They did it to better track how feline AIDS spread. The short story about it is they gave cats DNA that made them resistant to feline AIDS, but they didn't have any way to track whether or not the DNA actually got incorporated into the cat's DNA, so they put the glow-in-the-dark DNA with it to make sure it all got incorporated. Oh. Interesting. I didn't know that feline AIDS were a thing. Mika, however, had always preferred books to busy work, particularly work which involved needles, and she found herself returning to stories time and time again whenever she needed a break from her own dreary life. That's a mood. Quite honestly. Mika had read all manner of books over the years, but she preferred adventure stories full of mystery, intrigue, and yes, even murder. Malo, hello, how are you? I hope you're settling into work alright. Thank you for collecting your talisman. Howdy, howdy, hello. Ishamalo. It's our favorite mage. I am indeed settled. Let's go. Working on D&D notes. Oh, what are you working on tonight? Mage who made of Malos. How goes the vampire baddies? It's going. She just came in not too long ago. We finally get to see her in all her glory. Mika knew from her reading that vampires were nocturnal creatures, often aristocratic, who shunned the sunlight, dwelt in ruinous castles, and supped upon the lifeblood of fair maidens. Yes, Mika thought, in an oddly detached manner. That did make sense. She had sensed there was something strange about Magdalena when first their eyes had met. Mika's blue, Magdalena's shocking scarlet. Magdalena really must have been a vampire. It all made sense. At least, it would have, had Mika been a heroine in one of her novels. But life, Mika reminded herself, was not akin to a story. Mika might have consumed books like a starving man, but she had sense enough to know that the words written within the pages of adventure stories were all kinds of fiction. Vampires ought to have remained within the realms of make-believe. They had no business walking about as humans did, made of cold, unfeeling flesh with hearts which no longer beat. So my players were going on their first quest through the school job board. A kindly old gnome had a break-in at the end. Oh yeah, I remember. Oh, are you still working on that storyline? They're a boss of the PTA somewhere in the... Oh. Perhaps. Beeps do sound good. That's the session? Oh, okay, okay. You have to let me know how that goes. They were supposed to be constructs, mere figments of fancy. But Magdalena was real, undoubtedly so. Unless, Mika thought, striking her head had addled her, and Unsettling though she was, Mika did not take her for a liar. Her confession had sounded quite sincere. Yes, that is correct. I am a vampire, and this castle is my territory. That and the woods that surround you. You wandered into my domain, you hopeless little lambs, while on the run from those awful bandits. I know none of this is your fault, and I have no quibbles with you. I'm not blaming you for what occurred tonight. There. See how fair I am? I'm too nice by half. Too nice for my own good cause. You have been awfully surly with me, the both of you, but I've only ever been polite. I would even let you go if I could. Dispatching of brigands is one thing, but I take no pleasure in harming young ladies. But I feel that would be too foolhardy. I cannot allow any who have wandered into my realm to leave alive. I do not want you telling tall tales. I should snap both of your necks and be done with it, but... Magdalena's red eyes found Mika's, then held them. Her smile, which hitherto had seemed so easy, faded, and once more her brow furrowed. You don't seem to be a mere peasant. Magdalena delivered this judgment softly, but something dark seemed to throb beneath her words. Something sinister. I can tell from your clothes, dirty though they are, that you are from a wealthy background. Your voice and your bearing. Yes, even the way you look at me. It all suggests that you are, in fact, a lady. Would I be correct in that assessment? Why do you ask? It would be problematic for me if I were to dispatch a woman of renown. I would not want your disappearance to catch the attention of men in high places. I'm just working on the connections between the local group that did the break-in and the big bads group that actually is going to be causing problems. Oh, let's go! Have you made any progress on it, or are you just like starting that part? If they were to send out a search party into these woods, it is not wholly impossible that they would stumble upon my home. I have lived out of sight from the public eye for nigh on century, and I've no desire to invite half of Augsburg's constabulary into my home. The idea is incredibly unpleasant. Magdalena pulled a face, as a small child might when confronted with a plate of food they did not much care for. If you really are a lady, I might do well to exercise some caution. I suppose I can always spare your life and kill only this dowdy common girl, your maid, I take it. Magdalena looked to Henny now, her lips curled into a mean smile. What do you say to that? It is not a bad trade, is it? Her life or yours? Precious few people who find themselves in my abode are ever able to live to tell the tale. You would be one in... Goodness, how many guests have I had over the years? There must be a good 200 or 300. Aren't you touched by my thoughtfulness? Silence descended in the decrepit cell following Magdalena's announcement. Stuck for words, Mika could only stare at her, her lips parted. What will she say to Magdalena's proposal? How is she to feel? There was relief, certainly, at the prospect of escaping the cell, but Mika could take no real pleasure in it, not when it would come at the cost of Henny's life. How could she abandon her friend who had been by her side since her early childhood? Were it not for Henny, Mika knew she would be dead already, butchered like a farmyard animal in her parents' carriage. Henny had rescued her once already from a bandit's blade. It seemed unconscionable that she should leave her now. Mika turned this over in her mind, worrying her teeth with her lower lip, when... Well, if my life's all that you're after... Henny reached out, taking Mika's hand between her own, and then said, "What else is there to think about? It sounds like a fine suggestion to me. Don't you agree, Mika?" "What?" Mika stared into Henny's round, soft face, her eyes vast and uncomprehending. Surely you don't mean that. You're not alright with this, are you, Henny?" "Well, it'd be a lie if I said I was jumping up and down for joy at the prospect of being eaten by a vampire." Henny's smile wavered, though she tried to maintain a brave face. "But if it's what I've got to do to save your life, Mika, then I'll do it. I do love you, after all. I'm not going to let you get hurt." Henny tried to sound brave, but Mika could hear how her voice trembled all the same. Could feel, too, how Henny's hand shook. Henny, like her, had heard the screams of the bandits' leader as they echoed through the halls. Though neither woman had seen his final moments, they knew from his cries that his demise must have been barbarous. Mika could not allow Henny to endure such suffering for her sake. She could not allow her to die. Mika knew Henny wished only the best for her, but... Wait, I totally forgot I missed this too. I forgot how much I told you in general about the Big Bad Group, but basically there is a tiefling in a local street gang who has aspirations to join the Big Bad Group, so she wants to take one of the items from the break-in that they stole, an old dragon scale, and pawn it off to one of the black market contacts for the Big Bad's group. Ah, okay. I can wall of text you at some point in DMs. Okay, sounds good. I heard tiefling and gang was like, "Hey, yo, who took my boy?" Different tiefling. Okay, but where are the smooches here? Mala, I'm trying to get to the smooches. So far, all she's done is offered not to kill us. I am trying to get to the smooches. No. Mika spoke up, her voice surprisingly cool given the wild fluctuations of her heart within her breast. "I won't allow that to happen. It wouldn't be right. If one of us must remain here, then it ought to be me." "What? No, you can't mean that, Mika. Surely you jest." "No, I'm not. You know, I've a terrible sense of humor, Henny. I hardly ever tell jokes. I don't have enough levity in me for them. I'm being very serious. You've always looked out for me, ever since I was small. Not that I've always listened to you. Don't you remember when I stole the keys to the mausoleum and my insufferable curiosity and crept inside? But of course I remember. You dragged me in after you despite my warnings, and it went about as badly as expected too. Didn't it, just?" Faintly, Mika smiled, dire though their situation was, happy to share this memory, though it wasn't at all fond with Henny. For all she knew, it might very well have been her last chance to reminisce with her maid like this. Mika knew not what the future held, but Lady Von Essen was in such an awful mood when she found out. It was quite frightening. I'd never seen anything like it. Oh yes, she was fearfully cross. It's a wonder fire didn't come out of her nostrils. I recall that she struck you, and then when I tried to argue on your behalf, she struck me too. She struck me so hard my ears still ring from it sometimes. God, yes. Poor Hen. I felt awful about it at the time. Really, I did. I didn't care about my punishment. God knows I deserved it. But you'd done nothing wrong. You'd been perfectly reasonable about the whole thing. If I'd listened to you, we could have avoided the furor together. But I was too reckless. I ignored your wishes, but you still wished to protect me. You jumped to my defense just like a knight, and you were slapped silly for your troubles. It was horribly unfair. I've dragged you into all sorts of messes before, Henny, and you've always come to my defense. You've been a wonderful friend to me throughout the years, but I can't keep relying on you. I don't want to take advantage of your kindness. But, Mika, I like it when you rely on me. Please, feel free to take advantage. That's what I'm here for. No, I can't. It isn't right. It's long past time that I repaid you. By offering yourself up as sacrifice in my stead? That isn't what I want. Mika, please. Henny stared at her mistress, her expression entreating. Has she at least grabbed us by the neck? Not at all. Not even once. Oh, Cherry, I just remembered, but when you're talking about seeing Joker, I was going to tell you, guess what I'm going to be seeing tomorrow? Oh, I am so sorry, Dread. Okay, it's just me though. Like I thought it was a little odd. I think some people might like it. It's not Joker? Oh, okay, never mind. Rude. Honestly, rude though. I love you, but you're acting like a crazy woman. And you are the pinnacle of rationality, are you, considering this crazy deal? That is truly insane. Don't tell me you've accepted all this. Of course I've not accepted it. I'm terrified, really. See how my poor hands are shaking. But one of us is biting. It has to be better than both of us. Not Transformers. I don't know what movies are out right now. I would not be able to guess. If I can protect you, then I must. I will. That's my job. No, it isn't. Not any longer. I'm absolving you of your duty, Henny. This farce has lasted long enough. What farce? You know what I mean. Magdalena. Yes? Magdalena looked between the two women, a coy smile playing about her lips. Have you quite finished with your little quarrel? I must confess, I was beginning to feel rather left out. My apologies. I will endeavor not to be so rude in the future to my hostess. Mika dipped her head in a gesture of esteem, one not so very dissimilar to the way Henny was bidden to bob around her mother. Mika knew she could not afford to anger Magdalena. If Mika was to save Henny, she would be obliged to beg and bow and scrape. Fortunately, begging and bowing were not beyond Mika's means, even though she was a lady. She was no stranger to scraping either, having tearfully entreated her parents to reconsider her marriage prospects. She had failed on that score, but she did not intend to fail now. She knew what she must say. It seemed a stretch that Magdalena would believe her, but if she did... I fear you're laboring under a misapprehension, Lady Magdalena. Your reasoning is sound. There would indeed be a ruckus if a noblewoman was to go missing, but your application is not. I am not a lady, you see, but my companion is. Oh. Magdalena raised an eyebrow. Then you mean to say you are the maid, and this lumpen Henny here is the mistress? That is correct, yes. I know I am dressed as a lady, albeit a disgraced one, but that was part of Lord and Lady Von Essen's ruse. While traveling, they often have me dressed as a lady, while Henny, that is to say, would it be Henrika? If it's like if Mika's name is that way? That Kill movie comes out in 20 days. Oh, let's go! Megalopolis. Terrifier? I just googled this and I didn't even realize this was a series that existed. It's probably one of the goriest franchises. Oh, that's... no thank you. Though to be fair, I don't have a robust knowledge of horror films. Oh, first two movies have so many graphic kills. Oh yeah, that's not my kind of movie. I hate body horror. I'm also not a big fan of slashers that focus on that, on like the horror aspect of that. It is a means of subterfuge so that if our carriage were to be attacked by bandits, I'm the one who would be in harm's way rather than my mistress. Only a truly desperate bandit would rummage through the pockets of a maid, especially when she was with her lady. What? Mika, that's... Henny began, but Mika cut her off. She was warming to her ruse despite the chill which infused the air, and she found she could not still her tongue, not until she had delivered her whole address. Lady Henrika is the one who will be missed in Augsburg, not I. She has a fiancé waiting for her, you know, and he is a very important man. If she doesn't arrive before the dawning of the next day, he'll be certain to send out a search party for her. You would not want that, would you? Magdalena pondered Mika's tall tale for a few moments, one gloved hand resting upon her hip. As she thought, Mika stared at her, compelling her through sheer force of will to accept her tale at face value. It was patently unbelievable of this Mika knew, but she need not convince a whole jury. She needed only to convince Magdalena. An age seemed to pass, during which nobody spoke until... Very well. If that is how it is, then I suppose I have no choice. You may leave my abode, Lady Henrika. Here, Magdalena dropped another effusive curtsy. If that is indeed your real name. I will grant you the chance to reunite with your fiancé in Augsburg, who must be awaiting you with no shortage of anticipation. Who wouldn't, after all, wish to dote upon a maiden as fair and fine as yourself? Your surprisingly well-spoken maid, however, will be bidden to remain by my side. Do we have a deal? Yes. I would do anything to ensure Lady Henrika's safety. Oh, most assuredly. You would not consent to acting as a decoy on her behalf if you didn't care. What a wonderful friendship you women have. It is quite special, really, particularly given the disparity in your social statuses. Now, come along, Lady Henrika. It was very lovely to make your acquaintance, but now I fear I must cut our meeting short. Let me escort you to the front door. It's the least I can do for a woman of your lofty status. What? Mika, no. Henny cried, but in vain. Magdalena was soon upon her, her pale fingers winding tight about her wrist. Mika, please stop this. Tell her the truth. I'm sorry, Hen, but... Abashed, Mika dropped her gaze to the stone floor. Though she had given her life for Henny's sake, she found she could not meet her friend's gaze as she was dragged bodily from the prison cell they had both inhabited. The hurt in Henny's countenance and the betrayal stung far too much. This is how it has to be. Says who? I was willing to go along with this woman's plan, but you covered it up. I don't understand you at all, Mika. Why would you tell such tissue of lies for little old me? Magdalena, please. Henny stared at Magdalena, all while trying and failing to dig her heels into the stone floor of her cell. Surely you can't believe my mistress. It's obvious she is lying. There's no way she isn't a lady, not with her fancy, proper way of talking. She's far, far more genteel than I could ever dream of being. Her manners are certainly more polished than your own, yes, but perhaps this comes from years of servitude. You could stand to learn a thing or two from your maid, Lady Henrika. Your fiancé won't think much of you as you are now, I'm afraid. Why, you're speaking almost like a fishwife. Now, come along. Let us not argue. You will give me a headache. But, Mika, I can't leave her. Let me go. Henny cried anew, squirming now, but Magdalena's hold upon her did not loosen. If anything, in fact, it seemed to grow stronger, to such a degree that Henny screamed. Ow! Henny's cries echoed throughout the cell, more unbearable than those of the bandit leader during his final moments. Magdalena had not made Henny bleed, at least, but she was gripping her wrist so tightly Mika feared she might snap it. Magdalena had strength enough, or so Mika had been led to believe, to best even a fully grown man. Henny, who was short and dumpy. That's not a great way to describe your friend, but okay. Could put up little in way of fight. The poor maid was quite helpless before her. I think Magdalena knows what's up. Yeah, I think so too. I don't think she's dumb. There was nothing which could be done. Not any longer. Henny would have to leave, while Mika would remain incarcerated in this dreary cell, alone. This was what Mika had wanted when she had spun her, frankly, untenable story. So why, then, did she feel so guilty? Let me go. Let go, I say. Mika, please. Henny continued to protest, but Magdalena remained insensible to her cries. The door of the cell was closed anew with a metallic thud. And then Mika was left, sitting upon the ground as she had been 1 hour hence when she had woken, pale-faced and trembling, and all alone. The time passed at an agonizingly slow pace as Mika sat on the stone floor of her cell, with her legs demurely crossed. Without Henny to cheer her, the air felt colder than it had before, the shadows darker. Magdalena had taken Henny from the cell so abruptly she had not been afforded the chance to collect her scattered playing cards. Now, these cards were strewn upon the floor, upturned. Red diamonds, red as Magdalena's eyes, and coal black clubs. Mika caught the eyes of a nearby joker, his lips pulled into a garish smile, and shivered. Paranoid though she knew it was, it felt as though the card was mocking her. Mika reached out, fingers trembling. to grab the card, then flipped it over. She did not want to look at the Joker's grinning face. She did not want to think either about what Henny was doing or how she was feeling. And she certainly did not want to think of her own future. It would be easier to drive such musings from her mind, and yet, though Mika tried to keep her thoughts placid, like the smooth surface of an untroubled lake, sinister queries, sharp tooth-like eels, writhed just beneath the surface. What would happen when Magdalena returned? Did she mean to kill Mika quickly? Or would she make her suffer first? Magdalena had seemed to derive great pleasure from her torture of the bandits' leader, but she had said she did not care to harm young ladies. So cutesy. So cutesy, so demure. Mika could only hope if Magdalena did mean to kill her, she would do so quickly. She had suffered enough for one night. No, for one lifetime. Mika, despite her heroism, did not want to die. The thought terrified her. When she imagined how Magdalena might kill her, a blade to the throat perhaps? Poison? Drowning? Strangulation? She felt her skin, icy cold now, ripple with goose flesh. She did not want to be stabbed or poisoned or drowned or choked. She wanted to live. Mika had read stories of knights and their exploits, but she was no chivalrous herself. She was a young woman, though not, as her mother might have reminded her, so very young anymore, and she had very little experience of the world beyond her parents' home. From an early age, Mika had been taught to hold her tongue, to hold her thoughts, to be sweet and pretty and patient, and above all else, pliant. She was not supposed to think for herself, let alone stand up for herself. It wasn't appropriate conduct for a lady. Mika had endured 25 years as such, living only to please her parents, and her parents' esteemed visitors, and later her parents' chosen fiancé, but it had not felt like living. Do you think vampire bites you itch like bug bites? Since bug bites itch because it's your immune system's response to the bug's saliva. Ooh, that's a good question. Imagine being allergic to a vampire's bite. Your whole neck just swells up. I think it depends on what lore. In some mythos, vampire saliva creates a pleasant feeling for the victim, so they don't even know the bite is happening, like you're being drugged. But what about after? You know how like mosquitoes are the same in the fact that you don't really feel their bite because of a similar thing, but like afterwards it like swells up and it itches. I'm curious now. If a vampire spits on me and I start itching, I'm gonna be pissed. I am rioting. How dare my body be allergic? Send mosquitoes to the shadow realm, honestly. I think it still depends. Some vampires will lick the wounds to seal it up and then it's all good. Oh, true, actually. That is true. With vampire-ness, you... Do all of them have healing, though, in that way? I think I might actually stop here. We can continue tomorrow. I don't know how much longer there are in the demo, but... I'm assuming... Do you think it's gonna be all of Act 1? I don't know. I don't know how much more there is, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. If anything, I have a game lined up. Or we can just draw also. I guess we can do art. So I guess we'll see. We'll find out tomorrow what we're gonna do, depending on how long I play this. Yeah. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for streaming. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for hanging out. I always appreciate seeing you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night wherever you are. If it's nighttime for you, I hope you have a good night's rest, sweet dreams, and hopefully, sweet dreams. What do I usually say? If it's not nighttime for you, or if you're not planning on going to bed anytime soon, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Hopefully you guys kick off the weekend well, in high spirits. I hope you guys... Well, I'll see you guys later. I forgot the rest of it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If I don't, then I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys!